All right, good evening. So, good evening and welcome back to JPC Spiritual Talk. It's Jared Campbell. So, this evening, we're going to continue our discussion talking about the Kursk region in Russia. It's on the brink. We're going to unpack Ukraine's bold incursion. We're going to talk about the high stakes conflict with Russia as well. Before we get any further, though, start out the Lord's Prayer. If you do not like the prayer, you can skip to the introduction. In the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, power, the glory, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, now and forever. Sages. Amen. The Lord's our shepherd. All right, good evening. Welcome back. And tonight's episode is sponsored by Father in Heaven. So here's the introduction tonight. In this gripping episode, Ricky and I, so we're going to hear from Ricky tonight, will delve into the unfolding crisis in Russia's Kursk region, where the brave Ukrainian forces have launched a daring incursion deep into enemy territory. As the Ukrainian military pushes up 30 kilometers inside Russia, capturing strategic towns and critical positions. The conflict takes on new dimensions with the deployment of German-made armored vehicles and the arrival of Wagner Group mercenaries to bolster Russian defenses. We'll talk more about that. Join us as we explore the strategic tactical significance of these developments, including the innovative use of robot dogs by Ukrainian forces. That's at the end of the video. And the growing debate in Germany over its military equipment being used on Russian soil. Ricky shares his insights on the border implications of this conflict, for the potential shifts in military strategy to the international reaction that could shape the future of the war. Together, we discuss President Zelensky's praise for Ukraine's surprising resilience, the symbolic impact of this bold move, and the high-risk nature of what some are calling a suicide mission. Don't miss out on our in-depth analysis as we uncover the reasons behind Ukraine's invasion, the escalating tensions, and what this means for the ongoing battle for control of one of war's most critical fronts. It's beautiful. So we're going to first hear from Ricky. So hopefully you stayed with us, right? Hopefully, if you didn't like the prayer, you skipped over till now. So we're going to hear from Ricky. Ricky, who is in Ukraine, a 3-minute clip, right? There's a few videos because we had some technical difficulties, right? And I will post those videos as well, those conversations after this video tonight, this evening. So as I get the screen shared over, we're only going to hear about a 3-minute clip of the conversation, Ricky and I, and then we're going to get to the rest of my report. But I really, for the next 3 minutes and 28 seconds, I really want you all to listen closely to what Ricky is saying. So here we go. All right, so you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the Kurks, what's happening in Russia, right? And so
yeah, which I don't know too much about, but
a friend that I know who's also familiar with Ukraine, he's been there. We were talking, and I got to find it in the text, but I have to. He says something that was really important. Oh, this is what he said. He said Ukraine had a number of CIA sites along the border with Russia and Belarus, as well as some other sites. When Belarus backed out of active participation, it freed up thousands of soldiers that now seem to be part of the Kursk offensive. Others were what was left over from Ukrainian elite units.
Yeah. So yeah. that clicks with what I told you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was. It was. Yeah, that's what I was. It's interesting.
And that. Well, either way, and that, which can't describe too much detail on that on the actual recording, but
yeah, exactly. But it's
because
Very
Well,
interesting.
you know what it is this. Okay, in that, like, to be completely fair with everything. Like, how to say this? Some conversations you can have totally in private. Then some are like semi-private, and then some are like, completely public. So it's like that. But yeah, it was a thing that just ran through my head because I heard a conversation a few years ago, and that and everything else. Boy, this like the elephant in the room of, well, what did they talk about? For people that watch. But oh, I don't know. It's just one of them things that sometimes how to put it, I think sometimes the most innocuous information is the most important information, and the most important is not the most important. It's like a
That makes
reverse psychology. And that, like, what they don't want you to know is what they want you to know, and what they want you to know is what you should not know.
yeah. It seems planned. Like the whole thing was planned. It was in the works for a good while. So it definitely wasn't spontaneous.
Well, I don't, from my iPad, but the maps, it's really strange because I guess if you watch the Russian side, the whole thing is over now. But if you watch the Ukraine side, it's still going. So which one is the truth is the question.
All right, so I paused right there. So I'm going to get now into the report. So I hope you were all listening closely to what Ricky was saying. So we're both trying to get to the bottom of the truth, right? So one side is saying one thing, and the other side is saying another. So that's why we dig deep, right? So let's go with the report. So the crisis in the Kursk region has intensified as Ukrainian forces continue their advance, aiming to capture the strategic important E38 highway near the vital city of Log. Ukrainian troops have already taken control of 27 settlements, and their penetration has reached up to 30 kilometers into Russian territory. They've established 2 lines of defense, including occupying parts of Circovin Fortress line, reinforcing their positions while controlling strategic heights. So here we go. Let's look at the map, right? Well, the maps don't translate. And so I'm trying to find the town, because I don't know if I pronounced it right. Right here. Surovikin, right? Some of y'all might be able to help me with that. All right, so zoom out. So here's a few videos of the Ukrainian armored column getting obliterated by the Russian Iskander strike in the Kursk region. We'll watch some of that in a second, but let's continue on with some of this report. Okay, so the Russian response has been sluggish, with only some units from the northern force mobilized. Analysts suggest Moscow may need to draw additional reserves from their other regions. Their forces have yet to be withdrawn from Donbass. The Ukrainian strategy of rapid penetrations and bypassing fortified areas has outpaced the Russian counterattack capabilities, leading to a deepening crisis. Okay? Heavy fighting is reported across the region, particularly near Lvov and critical highways. Russia has resorted to carpet bombing and heavy artillery to halt and stop Ukrainian advances. But the situation remains critical. Ukrainian losses are very significant, with Russia claiming to have inflicted heavy casualties and destroyed numerous armored vehicles. However, despite these setbacks, Ukrainian forces continue to press forward, escalating the conflict. The situation in the Kursk region also is becoming increasingly dire. as Russian forces unleashed a relentless assault on Ukrainian positions, dubbed the Road of Death. This stretch of the battlefield has been intense. Russian attacks using a wide range of military assets, including helicopters, artillery, the Air Force, drones, and even ballistic missiles. A recent video showcased the ferocity of Russian shelling, which has reportedly inflicted heavy casualties on the Ukrainian forces, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. The Ukrainian army has suffered approximately 600 deaths in the latest round of attacks. The video is a stark reminder of the brutal nature of the ongoing conflict in Kursk. Hold on. So 600 Ukrainian casualties. We're talking about that in my commentary. So reportedly one of the roads of death, death of Ukrainian vehicles in Kursk. Look at this real quick.
Блин, они так вымокнут.
Ну а что ты с ними сейчас делаешь? Здорово. Дорога смерти. Дорога отчаяния.
Right. That video should help do us. So we're gonna continue on. Now we're gonna be talking about Wagner, right? So Wagner. So the recent deployment highlights the gravity of the situation, as the Wagner force is known for their combat experience, joined the Russian military to counter the Ukrainian advance. The U.S. has requested clarification from Ukraine regarding the developments in Kursk. Though Ukraine has not made any official statements apart from the vague reference by President Zelensky, Mikhailo Polak, an advisor to the Ukrainian president, suggested that any operation in Russia border regions could influence Russian public opinion and strengthen Ukraine's position in future negotiations with Moscow. Still, he refrained from confirming any specific military actions in Kursk. Also, Ukrainian President Zelensky praised Ukrainian military for its ability to surprise and achieve significant results, indirectly referencing the ongoing situation in Russia's Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces have reportedly launched a border offensive, while Moscow claims that Ukrainian troops have been operating in the area since Tuesday. Kiev has maintained a strategy of strict silence regarding its military activities in the Kursk region. So we were talking about the Wagner forces. We're going to watch a video, right? And so it says Russian channels sharing a video hinting towards the deployment of the Wagner troops to Kursk region, which are previously stationed elsewhere in the distant places. I guess it was not Mali. So we're going to listen to this because remember what Ricky was saying. So each side is saying one thing. If the Russians are saying they've halted this, then why are they sending Wagner, right? So here we go.
Командир сказал, кто умрет первый, тот пидорас. Орать нельзя.
Поехали в Курск, бля. Пидорасы поразъебывать, корабля на бал, как говорится.
Пускай ждут шлюхи.
Welcome to hell.
Скоро придем, нахуй. Будет жарко, но мы с огнетушителями. Мелкого, но много.
You see the patch in the video. All right, so let's keep moving on. In other reports, during an event unveiling a new digital application to reduce military bureaucracy, Zelensky highlighted the Ukrainian army's resilience and effectiveness on the battlefield. He emphasized that despite facing overwhelming Russian forces, Ukrainian soldiers have managed to not only withstand the pressure, but also deliver the necessary blows to protect Ukraine's sovereignty and independence. His remarks were shared in a video posted on Telegram, underlining the Ukrainian military's ongoing efforts to surprise and outmaneuver Russian forces. In another reporting, with the situation in Russia's Kursk region escalating dramatically, with reports indicating that Ukrainian forces have now penetrated 10 to 30 kilometers into Russian territory, capturing 2 towns and several villages. Notably, Moscow has released images showing German-made Marder armored vehicles along with American Bradleys and Strykers reportedly destroyed during the Ukrainian advance. Excuse me. This also has sparked significant reactions in Germany, given the historical context of German tanks being on Russian soil 80 years after World War II. It also reports in German media. They are commenting on the presence of these German vehicles in Russian territory, raising concerns and debates within Germany. Markus Faber, a politician from Germany's co-governing FDP party, stated that once delivered to Ukraine, these are considered Ukrainian weapons, framing the conflict as a war zone encompassing both Ukrainian and Russian territories due to Russia's initial aggression. On the other hand, the president of the BSW expressed serious concerns, calling the situation extremely dangerous. She urged that the German counselor to contact Ukrainian President Zelensky and demand that German weapons not be used in operations advancing on Russian soil. Meanwhile, in other reports, Moscow has downplayed the Ukrainian advance, claiming that the situation is under control and will be resolved in a few days, with reinforcements, including Chechen forces, being sent to the Kursk region to counter the Ukrainian incursion. This development marks a significant escalation in the conflict, raising the stakes for all involved parties. Also, in other reports, the Ukrainian invasion into Russian territory in the Kursk region and also in Belgorod regions appeared to be multifaceted operation with both symbolic and strategic implications. According to Mikhailo Polak, a senior advisor to Ukrainian President Zelensky, the root cause of this escalation lies in Russia's outright aggression. It attempts to occupy foreign territories as it disregards international law, which upholds sovereignty and the territorial integrity. Polak frames Ukrainian actions as a response to Russia's ongoing violations, implying that Ukraine's incursion is a direct consequence of the border conflict initiated by Russia. However, in other reports, despite the justification, the Ukrainian operation on Russian soil is seen by some as lacking in significant military value. Critics argue that the incursion does not threaten Russia's border military objectives or alter the overall trajectory of the war. I think I've mentioned that, right? Because, I mean, Russia's like a big country. Think about it. And they have 270,000 conscripts that are not even part of the special military operation going on in Ukraine, right? So Russia really doesn't have to move a whole lot around as far as what's on their Ukrainian fronts, right? And not to mention what they have in reserves as well. Right? So if it's still going on, which it sounds like it, and if the Wagner Group is going there, that will help cut down on sending military as well, right? So Russia's a big country. It's going to take them time to respond. When they say that they're slow, well, it makes sense in being a big country, right? But it's interesting stuff. So let's keep going, right? So the operation is described as a high risk with potentially high casualties for Ukraine, leading some to label it as a suicide mission, right? Here are several possible reasons for the invasion that have already been suggested. Number one, the extension of Zelensky's leadership in the war. There is speculation that prolonging the conflict might serve political purposes, potentially solidifying Zelensky's leadership during wartime and maintaining Western support despite the toll on Europe's economy. Two, symbolic successes. The operation might be intended to demonstrate that Ukraine can still take the fight to Russian soil, thereby bolstering morale and showing success against the Russians, even if these actions don't have strategic impact on the war's overall outcome. Number three, testing Russia's defenses. The incursion could be an attempt to test Russia's ability to defend its vast borders, which are challenging to secure completely with conventional forces. By penetrating Russian territory, Ukraine might be probing for weaknesses in Russia's defense posture. Ultimately, with the operation as garner significant attention, it is unlikely to achieve substantial military gains. Instead, it may serve as a strategic maneuver within the border context of war, aimed at influencing international perceptions, testing Russian responses, and maintaining momentum in a protracted conflict. No, a friend of mine said that this is going to give Russia a pretty good nosebleed for a while. I think so. I think that Russia will be able to handle it within time, but I do think that Ukraine, I think, has been training for this for a while. It sounds like it, right? I think they're going to pound themselves. So this is going to be interesting. So, in other reports, in a recent and dramatic turn of events, Ukrainian troops have reportedly penetrated deep into Russia's Kursk Oblast, releasing a video that claims to show them on the outskirts of the town of Sedusa. In the footage, the soldiers declare that everything is calm in the town, while asserting control over strategic Gazprom facility, allegedly seized by Ukraine's 99th Mechanized Battalion of the 61st Mechanized Brigade. Although the video has been confirmed as authentic by a former serviceman, the 61st Mechanized Brigade has not officially confirmed its involvement or presence in Sedusa. So let's look at that video. Right? So it came out of the Kiev Independent.
З міста Суджа. Новини у нас такі. Місто контролюється Збройними силами України. В місті спокій. Всі будинки, всі міста цілі. Стратегічний об'єкт «Газпром» в місті Суджа контролюється 99-м механізованим батальйоном 61-ї окремої степової бригади. Всім мирного неба.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
All right. So as we get ready to finish up this evening, we're going to talk about Ukrainian forces are deploying innovative robot dogs on the front line, providing a valuable tool for handling dangerous missions. These agile and nearly invisible machines, such as the Bad One model, have performed tasks that would typically put soldiers at significant risk, including searching Russian trenches, detecting mines, and scouting buildings and war zones. During a demonstration in an undisclosed location, the Bad One robot dog showcases capabilities, responding to remote control commands by standing, running, and jumping. This model represents an evolution of commercially available technology with more advanced version. Bad 2 kept out of the public view for security reasons. Robot dogs are equipped with thermal cameras, allowing them to conduct reconnaissance missions stealthily, significantly reducing the risk faced by human soldiers. Yuri, from the robot's operator, improvised that these machines enhance operational capabilities and save lives by reducing the number of soldiers exposed to danger. Powered by batteries with a 2 to 3 hour shelf life, these robots can also carry ammunition, medicine, and other supplies on the battlefield. With details about these robots, number and deployment locations remain confidential. Yuri noted that the war in Ukraine is revolutionizing combat tactics globally. The relatively low cost of these robots, a few $1,000s, allows them to undertake missions that would otherwise require multiple specialists and soldiers. Additionally, if the robot is immobilized or captured, it has an emergency mechanism to erase all collected data and ensuring sensitive information remains secure. Okay, let's watch a little video on this, about a minute 43 long. We may not watch it all, but let's take a look at it. It's going to make me go out, isn't it? That's interesting stuff, isn't it? We have drones. Now we have robotic dogs. That's something, isn't it? World is changing. Warfare is changing. Now, I'm looking at the guy with the control, right? Now, at some point, when you figure out to take out the guy with the control, I don't know. Interesting. All right, so before we close out, right, back to the videos here with Ricky. So I'm going to post these after I post this video. The first one is a little over 9 minutes long. It was part of the 3-minute clip we watched in the beginning. I'm going to post that. It's a good conversation. I want to finish that one up. I do encourage you to watch it, all of you. The next one is 7 minutes long. There, Ricky gets his map out and he's showing pictures and he's talking about what's going on in Eastern Ukraine. He's talking about what's going on in Kursk as well, pulls up the map. He's also getting ready to head east, right? So he's going to keep us updated on his travels to Eastern Ukraine. They're doing like a supply run. So that's coming in the coming weeks. So please subscribe if you want to see those videos, because that's probably the only way you're going to catch them is by subscribing. Okay? So thank you all again for following. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Right? So pretty much, I think we've covered it all. Right? We're going to stay on what's going on in the Kursk region for a while, or until it kind of simmers down. We'll see what happens. I think it's kind of a hot topic because for me, this could draw in NATO, right? NATO and the US are kind of acting like they're off guard. I don't believe that they are. I think it's their own way, their own strategy by seeming that they're off guard. I don't think that they are. But it's very important because I don't know. I think with Russia, Russia's not afraid to use nukes on their own soil. So this is going to get interesting. Without further ado, thank you all again for following. Right? Hope you enjoyed these videos. Try to keep you guys updated. Try to give you real news, like real facts, right? And give you other voices on the ground, right? So you know what's going on. Because I think it's very important. And a lot of people ask, why are you so invested in Ukraine? Well, with billions of dollars being sent to Ukraine, my country's sending billions of dollars. Of course I'm invested, right? Because I want to know where all the money's going, right? And I want to see progress. Right? If that makes sense, right? And I don't see any of that. Without further ado, though, love y'all so much. I'm out. JPCE Spiritual Talk. Never, ever hold back, right? Seek truth. Love y'all so much. I'm out. Please like, subscribe, and share out the video. Thank you all so much.